welcome back to our liches stream. So I've been playing 7 minutes ago. I played with Sev D55. He got a rating of 2060, while my rating is 2055. I'm quite downhill for this week. I think for the whole month. So let's see what we got here. So usually I played Sicilian, as you notice. I'm a heavy Sicilian player. Then he played knight c3, and I played here d6. Then knight f3, and I played knight f6. So this is what they call Sicilian close. So as you notice, it's a Sicilian e4 c5. Then there's no d4 at the moment. The d4 is delayed. That's why they call it the close variation. So here he played bishop b5. Then he did a check on that one. Sorry about those dogs. They're noisy. So I played here bishop d7, and he took my bishop on d7. I took it with the knight. So knight takes bishop. And after here, he castled. So there's a lot of highly ranked game in the database, as you can see. After the castling, after the white castling, I do the g6. I would like to fend to the bishop on the g7 square because it will be very powerful if I'm able to fend to that bishop. Then here he played d3. This is a standard move for the close Sicilian. Usually, the close Sicilian wants to close the center, and they will attack on the flank for H file or G file or F file. So that's the theory behind the close Sicilian. So here I played bishop g7. So fan shooting the bishop. Then after that, the white moved his piece on bishop g5. So just making a threat on that knight. So that's not a good threat. Anyway, I just castle and ignore. Then here, as you can see, there's only two reference game 50-50. One uh, wins black and the other one wins white. So it's a 50-50 chess game history. So from here, he played knight e2. Then after that, we are in a new game. So here, he played knight e2. I played rook c8, just strengthening this hopefully semi-open file on the c file. So here he played knight g3. Then I was thinking, what's my new next move here because I don't know what to do now. So here, I think what I did is h6, which is correct based on the engine. Then you need to move the bishop. Actually, I have made a bad move here. I should not play the knight g4 prematurely. I should play either this one, right? Queen c7, because I'm planning, if I'll go this knight g4, I'm planning to take this pawn on b2, and also have a threat on the e3, so it's double threat. So here he just uh, he just uh, he just push h3, letting me take his bishop at e3, in which I did. Then after that, he took it with the pawn on f takes e3. Then after that, the engine says I should take on the pawn here, but this can be defended. And after that, now I'm infiltrated with rooks, and I don't think this is a good one. But my bishop is quite too strong in this diagonal, right? I mean, in this diagonal, it's quite too strong. So maybe that's the good, the good side of it because it's giving me a negative 1.4, favorable for white. So what I did here is just not to take it. After taking the knight, I did take the pawn on b2, but instead I played the queen on c7. Then after that, he pushed his pawn at c3. Then what I did here is I think I played king h7. Yeah, I'm not sure why did I play that. Yeah, I did not. I'm really not sure why did I play that. There's a lot of moves instead. Like for example, I'm not really sure why did I play that before. Yeah, before it would be good. Yeah, I think that I played that queen h7 just to protect. I mean, additional protection. This one and the h6, but I don't need that. I don't think I need that. So he did here, he pushed the pawn at d4. So I didn't take the pawn. I just kept the pressure in the center. So I just keep expanding on my queen side. So after that, not he pushed, but he placed his queen on c2, and also making a good target on my h7 king. So basically, this is a good position of the queen. So what I played here next is a4 just to infiltrate or expand on the queen side. Then after this one, he played this move, knight h2. So I found this before. So I want to break the center and also loosening up the center and give some advantage for my black bishop, because if the center will be open and my bishop has on the diagonal, it's quite too powerful. So here I played the b4 and he replied with king h1. So then what I did is not taking the pawn but instead pushing this pawn on d5 because I'm eyeing on this knight. Then what he did is he pushed the pawn on this one on e5. So this is good for me because my pawn will be positioned in the white square, and my black bishop will be very powerful at the late game. So here, I think I played e6. So I think that's a bad move. The engine says I should took this one and took this one. Then I can sacrifice this, and you can take this, and this is yeah. I think this is very straightforward approach. I did see that, but what I did instead, I played e6, so standard human move. So he played knight h5, so this is an open check on the h7, so I cannot take this knight on h5. So what I did is I don't want to exchange this bishop for the knight, so I just moved back my bishop on h8. Then after that, he made a check on f6. I took the knight on f6 with my knight. He took it with the pawn. Then after that, the pawn on. Uh, I took the pawn on. No, I didn't took the pawn, but instead I put my knight, not my queen here on d8. So making threat on this pawn. I think he can defend this one, but I'm not sure. He defended it in the knight. Yes, he defended it in the knight, and which give me an advantage of striking the knight. So he need to move the knight here. So this pawn is now free. Then actually he can jump here. Yeah, he can jump here, and I could take this, and he could take that. But what he did is he put the rook on f4. Then I took the knight on e5. So his pawn is pretty weakened, pretty isolated. He got two pass pawn, isolated pass pawn. So here it's easy to target those isolated pawns. So what I did here is queen g5, targeting those pawns. Then after that, he placed the rook on f1, rook a f1. Then I defended because he's threatening to take the pawn on f7 plus check. Then what I did, I put my king here at g7. Then he took the pawn on b4, and which I take it by my a takes b4. Then after that, he pushed the pawn on e4. So my advantage here is currently negative 5.8. That's almost a rook and a pawn. So I think I can push this, right? But I think I did take the pawn on e5 instead. And after exchange of pawns here, and he goes for this queen f2. So this is quite the f7 pawn is quite heavily threat. So I put it in h5 to get defended by the g6 square. And after that, he go to the You go to the g3, queen g3, then after that I take the pawn on b2 because it's free. Then he cannot take this one because I think there's because it's open, right? You cannot take that. So but I can make a check here, and this is easy easy rook. So he cannot take that. So what he did, he placed his queen on g5, which I played queen f6 to defend g6 and the f5 square. So he played queen g3 back, and I pushed my pawn on c4. He took the knight on f5 easily. I can take these two rooks with my queen because it is quite winning already. Push the pawn and c3, and this is winning for white. Then go back, queen move, push the pawn. Don't matter if I lose a rook here because I can check here. After checking here, go up, kings go up, push a queen, and it's totally over. This then I make it easier to exchange the queen, so it will be easier for me because I'm low in time. It's currently around 1 minute and 7 seconds, so it's pretty low in time. I also given my bishop there for easy game, and after that I think it's all over from here. So just a matter of time, it will be checkmate. So let's check. Let's just quick check on which move was has a fatal significance on the results of the game. So let's check on the game again. So here everything is looking good, right? Everything is looking fine. Oops, I think this one. Yeah, yeah. The knight h2 was the culprit, weakening everything. That's the one. Actually, he have managed to equalize. Then after that, he now bring back it to disadvantage because I'm able to have negative 2.4 advantage on that one. So here, let's see what happens here. This is also a bad move. The knight jump is a bad move on g4. So that's also give me a significant amount of advantage. Queen g5. Then I think, yeah, you got a lot of bad moves, and bad move after bad move makes the whole game harder for you to come back because basically this is game over, guys. So yeah, I think that's the game, guys. So that's the game for today, and thank you for watching, and have a good one.